When it comes to pyramids, there is more discussion about the pyramids of Egypt or Egypt. Why so? Because they are still well preserved while the pyramids of India, China, and Central Asia were destroyed in the war. Actually, the pyramids of Egypt are the shrines of the old lost civilization, which have now turned into mausoleums. There are 138 pyramids in Egypt and 3 in Giza, a suburb of Cairo. Although there are still so many more pyramids buried in the ground, the Great Pyramid of Giza is included in the list of 7 wonders of the ancient world. This pyramid is 450 feet high. It has been the tallest structure in the world for almost 4,000 years. Pyramid in America. The ancient Maya civilization of America was established in Guatemala, Mexico, Honduras, and the Yucatan Peninsula. It was an agriculture-based civilization. The Maya civilization was at its peak between 250 AD to 900 AD. As such, evidence of settlement has been found in this area from 10,000 years before Christ, and villages had also started settling in the coastal areas of the Pacific Ocean from 1800 years before Christ. But some archaeologists believe that the Maya began to build ritual buildings some 1,000 years before Christ and built many complexes by 600 years before Christ. Between 250 and 900, building construction took place on large scale and cities were settled. Their most notable buildings are the pyramids, which they built as religious centers. But then after 900, these cities of the Maya civilization began to decline, and the cities became empty. Pyramid in Antarctica. According to the website of Radio Russia, scientists from America and Europe have discovered 3 pyramids in the icy Antarctica in 2013, out of which 1 pyramid is near the beach. But 2 pyramids are submerged in the sea 16 kilometers away from the coast. All these 3 pyramids are built by humans, because thousands of years ago, this area of Antarctica was full of plants and greenery instead of being icy. Man lived here in those days. There used to be dense forests on the land of Antarctica, and different types of animals also lived there. Today, a large part of the continent of Antarctica is covered with a thick layer of ice. Pyramids in India. Lai Maths was born in India. If the Indus Valley civilization had survived, we certainly would not have needed to search for pyramids. From Balochistan to Kashmir, and from Kashmir to the banks of Narmada Godavari, the grand temples and palaces that were destroyed in the medieval period. Now even the remains are not left. Mount Kailash is a pyramidal mountain. Hindus had established their temples, palaces, etc. in ancient times only after seeing him. The triangular shape made on the roof of the temples of Sanatan Dharma is one of those experiments. It is called pyramid in Vastu Shastra and scientific language. This shape is amazing in itself. Why are dead bodies kept only in the pyramids? The flow of light, climate, and energy remains in a balanced form in the pyramid, due to which nothing gets distorted. The people of ancient times knew this secret. That's why they used to make their tombs pyramidal, and gave it such a grand shape that it could last for thousands of years. We are talking about ancient Egypt about 5,000 years ago. When the construction of the Great Pyramids of Giza began, people learned to build cathedrals and skyscrapers. But it was not until recently that these massive buildings appeared. The pyramids are still a mystery to modern scientists as to how these pyramids were built over 5,000 years ago. No wonder they are one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. They are also the oldest among them, and are the only wonders of the ancient world that still exist in the 21st century. It must have taken a lot of collaboration to create one that is extensive even for today's metrics. But the Pyramid of Giza was not the first pyramid of that time. The first pyramid, called the Step Pyramid, was built about 80 years earlier. Friends, if you want to keep getting such information, then subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. Let's go ahead and tell all its details. When were the pyramids of Egypt built? The first pyramid of Giza, built for King Djoser in 2630 BC, was not popular, but it was very influential. It was a pyramid of 6 terraced layers of stone, which was 204 feet high and as tall as a 19-story building. The pyramid built for King Djoser was the tallest building at that time. It was not just a pyramid, although it was surrounded by a whole complex, including building courtyards. People in ancient Egypt believed in reincarnation, so everyone, especially the king, wanted to make sure they had everything they needed to be ready for the afterlife. So the pyramid complex was fully supplied with lots of items, which was used by people on a daily basis. The complex included a pyramid and a palace of sorts. Those buildings containing many things the king would have liked and might need one day after reincarnation, such as furniture, food, and utensils of gold. After Djoser, building pyramids became common, but many pyramids were not finished, typically taking about 20 years or more to build a pyramid, with many rulers ruling much less than that. There are over 100 pyramids in total, the most famous of which is the Great Pyramid of Giza. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, the first and largest of the three famous pyramids of Giza, was built for the pharaoh Khufu around 2550 BC, initially 481 feet tall, as high as a 40-story building. The second pyramid was built around 2520 BC, built for Khufu's son Khafre around 600 BC. It is slightly smaller than the Pyramid of Khufu, standing at 471 feet tall, which is as tall as a 39-story building. The Great Pyramid of Khufu, with its famous statue of the Sphinx with the body of a lion and a human head, was built to guard important areas. Originally, it was red in color and had a nose. It is still possible to see traces of red pigment from its ears. But no one knows when the nose of the Sphinx disappeared. For some time, the Sphinx was a kind of hidden underground, covered with sand up to its shoulders. Luckily, it was dug out in the early 1800s by a team of 160 men. The third pyramid of Giza is the smallest. It was built around 2490 BC. Built for Khafre's son Menkaure around 1000 BC, it was 218 feet tall, which is as tall as a 20-story building. How are the pyramids built? The pyramids are designed to align with the points of the compass, and their sides symbolize the sun's rays. But in those times, there was no compass. The ancient Egyptians used to find directions themselves, and they basically used two constellations with amazing precision to align the pyramids. The pyramids were covered with smooth white limestone and had a gold-silver top to reflect the sun's rays. Later, the white limestone was taken from the pyramids by other kings and used for other buildings. Scientists estimate that the ancient Egyptians used about 2.3 million stone blocks to build the first pyramid, each block weighing more than a ton, which is the weight of a rhinoceros. Some stone blocks were even larger and heavier, almost as heavy as an elephant, 4.5 millennia ago. At that time, there were no modern tools or machines to help them build the pyramids. No wheels, and even steel was not available to them. The only metal available to them was copper. Even today, scientists do not know for sure how the Egyptians managed to build the pyramids. There are no records that have survived to shed light on this. Some even think that the Egyptians wanted to keep it a secret and deliberately did not record it. Many believe that poor people and foreigners built the pyramids, but this is not true. The builders were very skilled laborers and were well fed and paid. Archaeologists claim that the builders lived in a temporary city nearby and were a highly organized community with a strong leader. Scientists say that about 20,000 people worked on each pyramid complex, and each took about 20 years to build. It was probably a national project. The construction site was full of resources, and food and essentials came from all parts of Egypt, was likely to contribute. Even with so much support, it is not clear how the people managed to transport and assemble the colossal stones. One theory suggests that the stones were transported on boats up the Nile. Then there was a difficult part. They had to carry these huge stones to the construction site. They probably used wooden sleds. It wasn't too difficult to draw them. The sand mixed with the right amount of water was smooth enough, and 10 people could easily move the sled, even with a rock weighing a ton. Finally, one last problem in which they had to lift and place the stones. Archaeologists have discovered the remains of a ramp system that dates back to the construction of the pyramids, most likely the way the Egyptians used the huge stone blocks. A unique system was devised to move and pull the object, but no one knows exactly what it looked like. Surprisingly, there isn't much inside the pyramids. Most of it is solid stone, with only very little open space. But let's take a quick look inside the largest of the pyramids at Giza. There are two stairs from the entrance, one going down and another going down, that takes you to a chamber located underground where the pharaohs are, but not in this pyramid, because Khufu wanted to be higher. The underground room is partially unfinished. The room containing Khufu's sarcophagus, called the King's Chamber, is above it. Below the King's Chamber is a room called the Queen's Chamber, although there is no queen in this room and no one is sure why this room is called so. Unfortunately, there are no hieroglyphs on the walls of any of these rooms. They are all empty. If you want to see them, you must go to the other rooms, which are decorated with artifacts depicting ancient Egyptian culture and daily life. Represent. The words written in the walls help researchers to study their language and grammar. Sadly, the treasures that were once in the pyramids have long been stolen. From that room, there are many tunnels inside the pyramid. There are also many chambers and secret passages. Scientists have been sending small robots with cameras there for a few decades, and the robots have discovered another chamber, a little higher up with hieroglyphs on the walls. But even today, most of the pyramids are still unknown, and there are no known building plans for the pyramids. Friends, what are your thoughts on this matter? Please tell us by commenting. If you liked the video, then share it with your friends and relatives along with liking it. And to get such information, please subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon.